Hello and welcome back to Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
And I'm over being sick, for the most part. Can't tell by that dad grunt.
Wonderful. I'm glad you're not dead.
I did see a lovely comment talking about me keeping my smooth jazz voice. That was kind and swell of you, fellow human being.
Mr. Case Hansen, always providing the wonderful feedback.
Yes, thank you. I will. I'm gonna release my mixtape later, but first of all, we've got a heck of a lot of news and updates for you, including the Nintendo Direct. So go ahead and skip along. If you're just interested in the Nintendo Direct, I'm sure that Mike will provide a little a skip link in there if you just want to cut to the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I can timestamp it.
All right, so let's go ahead and wait. Don't you want to do your plug?
I do indeed want to do my plug. In case you are unaware, uninitiated, haven't joined the cult yet, we have a Patreon.
Give us your money.
If you would like to donate there, it's a nice capitalistic endeavor. You purchase some nice goodies, you get some benefits. It's a membership, if you will.
Nothing dirty.
No nudes, nothing like that. Just
no tasteful nudes.
Good old-fashioned game talk. We put out our first exclusive last month. We're putting out a new exclusive this month. We are not implementing the changes here, but introducing some new cast of characters, if you will. And so it's taking a little bit longer. So that's coming this month. It'll be interesting, I promise. Yeah, so you can support us there if you would like. Get perks.
That angry dog doesn't support us.
No. He decided he wanted to start yapping now, not all morning when he's been free to roam the house. No, he wants to do it now, right now, when I'm recording.
Good stuff. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our first piece of news, some updates. That is, the Pokemon Go lawsuit may actually have them remove some Pokestops in gyms. See, dog doesn't like it. Dog does not like it.
No, he's not happy about Pokestops being removed. It's less walks for him.
According to a report by the Hollywood Reporter, homeowners in California have put forth a settlement in the lawsuit against Niantic regarding players trespassing on their property to catch Pokemon or to go to Pokestops. The settlement includes changing features in the game, and I'm going to quick burn through those. Complaints of nuance or trespassing, and demands of the removal of a Pokestop or gym. The company will make commercially reasonable efforts to resolve a complaint and communicate a resolution within about 15 days of each specific case of complaint. Owners of a single-family residential property get rights of removal within 40 meters of their properties. Niantic will retain a personal database of the complaints in an attempt to avoid poor placement of these in the future. So, they kind of keep it and they know, kind of a what not to do guide. When Niantic's system detects a raid of more than 10 players congregating, a warning message will appear on their screens, reminding them to be courteous and respectful of surroundings. Niantic will also work with user reviewers and mapping services like Google Maps to migrate any problems, plus maintaining a mechanism so that the park authorities can request a park's hours of operation be honored for any public place, really. At the company's expense, Niantic will have an independent firm audit compliance with obligations during a 3-year period. So also needs to be known that the settlement needs to be cleared by a judge that's proceeding over the case. But if it clears, Niantic will need to shell out $1,000 to each named plaintiff in the lawsuit. So
right, it's a mouthful on that one. A long update. So, but we haven't talked about it in a while. So Bayonetta 3 was absent from Nintendo's most recent Direct. However, they say it's coming sooner than you may think. Nintendo of America's Senior Product Marketing Manager, Bill Trinan, spoke on the official Nintendo Power podcast. If you are unaware, Nintendo Power, the podcast, is Nintendo's actual podcast. So it's run and operated by them. And he spoke...
they're like us, but better.
they're like us, but with a budget. So, and funding. And more than 2 people. So he was on there talking about, the recent Direct, and he said, quote, "This is what I think is so great about the partnership between Nintendo and Platinum Games. Because to me, I look at Astral Chain, and I see the kind of intense action game that historically you haven't seen a lot of on the Nintendo platforms. With this collaboration with Platinum Games, being able to bring stuff like that, and knowing that they mention, of course, Bayonetta 3, which is still in development, it really works to round out the library overall of what's available on the Switch." He further elaborated and said, "And of course, that's another game that's maybe coming a little bit sooner than people anticipated later this year."
What? Bayonetta. I want Bayonetta.
So maybe, might be the holiday release. Who knows?
Alfonso Ribeiro, if you are unaware, he played Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Ribeiro denied copyright to the Carlton dance, and that didn't exactly go great for him in the Fortnite lawsuit. A U.S. Copyright Office has stated that the Carlton is, quote, "a simple dance routine that is not registerable as a choreographic work. According to your application for registration is refused." This really damages his case against Epic Games that they infringed on his creative work. Legally, this should make the case pretty dry, open and shut. But we'll need to see how it turns out in the long run, because it's not just him. There are also other dances like the floss dance and stuff where the creators are suing Epic over the...
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah. What was the one from... I don't know the actor's name. For one from Scrubs.
Oh, yeah, he made a comment about it. I'm not sure if he is actually suing or not, though.
I'm pretty sure he's in it.
I haven't seen anything indicating, but I don't think it's a class action. I think these are all individual lawsuits, from my understanding. I think they're all individual suits. I don't think they're trying to do a class action case, because if they did, then they might be able to, but I'm not really sure. From my understanding, these are individual cases. Oh boy, we're going to talk about Respawn and Apex again because it's the hot button topic. So Respawn would like to, at a point, put Apex Legends on Switch.
Yay.
Respawn's Drew McCoy, when interviewed by Eurogamer, said that they had interest in the game being on Switch and mobile, but that there is, quote, "nothing they can currently talk about," end quote. Maybe they need funding approval from EA still.
EA. Oh, EA. What am I thinking? I'm thinking about Bayonetta. I'm like, what are you smoking?
Nothing. I'm not smoking anything.
Our next piece of news is on Bayonetta. The director from Bayonetta 2 has left Platinum Games. Yusuke Hashimoto. Yusuke. I'm so sorry. I'm not good with these names. I'm just going to refer to him as Hashimoto for the time being. Via his Twitter account, released a statement that he is no longer working at Platinum Games. His quote was, quote, "Yesterday, January 31st, was my last day at Platinum Games. The memories I have made during my 13 years at Platinum, working with dozens of talented individuals on Bayonetta, Bayonetta 2, and Star Fox Zero, are priceless to me. Let me take this opportunity to share my thanks with anyone who has worked with me, supported me, or played my games. I hope to take the experiences I gained at Platinum and use them on whatever I work on in the future. Thank you again." So Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 were pretty good, so I hope that Bayonetta 3 still goes well.
Right, and was he directing Bayonetta 3, do you know?
I do not know. This might be why Bayonetta is kind of muttering along, who knows?
That's true, it might be because of that.
All right, let's go to the Nintendo Direct. Direct.
So you're aware, we're going to do this in the same sort of way the Direct is handled. Game announcement and release date, release window, unless there's something additional to talk about. So games that are new.
And maybe some additional bullet pointed information.
Right. New games you may not be familiar with, we want to elaborate on. So going straight to it, the first thing they announced is Super Mario Maker 2 on the Switch, coming June 2019. Hallelujah. Praise all that is good. I finally got Mario Maker on Switch.
When I was watching the direct, I was like, oh, that Mike's probably grinning right now if he's watching this live.
I was like, yes. Oh my God, yes. My prayers have been answered.
Yes.
I was so pleased.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance is exclusive to the Switch, and it's coming summer of 2019.
Box Boy and Box Girl were announced to be coming to the Switch. It is a co-op adventure. They have an additional cutie campaign. There are 207 current stages, and the game will be released on April 26th of this year.
Smash Ultimates 3.0 update. They basically gave us nothing. They just said wait and see. So there's that. Joker Challenge Pack 1 should be released before the end of April, and new amiibo are coming in 2019.
I want you to know that I never buy amiibo. You're quite aware of this.
I have a lot of amiibo.
I will, however, buy Joker. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is getting some updates. All courses will now support co-op, and it will also be getting additional DLC. You will get 18 new challenges, 5 new courses. Co-op will be allowed on all of these new courses, and the first one is available now, the first level, and all of them will be released on the 14th of March.
Yay.
And correct me, we discussed this. The first one's free?
I believe.
We believe? Okay. So we believe the first one is free. If we're wrong, we're wrong. It happens. Sometimes you have to redact things.
So next up, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Side quests are available for it. There's character customization. Those come out 2019.
Finally got a release date. Exciting. Dragon Quest Builders 2.
It looked bad, by the way.
Still looking super Minecraft. Well, yeah, it doesn't look super pretty. Apparently the first one was really fun from what I had heard of what people had played, but I have no interest in it. That got its release date for July 12th in 2019.
Dragon Quest Builders 2 because I interrupted Mike.
Yeah, sorry. Dragon Quest Builders 2's got its release then, and that's for all platforms. It's coming to Xbox, right? Or no? Or is it just coming to PlayStation and Switch? It might just be coming to PlayStation and Switch. However, those who have Dragon Quest Builders 1 will be getting some exclusive items as well. So you should look for those if you bought the first game and buy it on the same platform.
Dragon Quest 11 is seeing a Switch release in fall of 2019.
Real quick, I don't have it on here. Have you saw the name for that? It's super Japanese.
I don't remember.
It's Dragon Quest 11 Echoes of an Elusive Age, the definitive edition S.
That is a very...
Jesus.
That is...
long and cumbersome name. Tsum Tsum. A Tsum Tsum game was announced. Tsum Tsum Festival. If you are unaware, Tsum Tsums are these little Disney things. They look kind of like Haggy Sack gerbil things. They're weird. Anyways, it's a multiplayer game. Local multiplayer, online multiplayer. And the whole point is it's similar to Mario Party with its mini games. And that will be coming out this year.
What we need is more Mario Party to yank our hair out with. Next up, Starlink, more Star Fox missions, and three of the other pilots in Star Fox's crew: Slippy Toad, Falco, and Peppy Hare, I believe.
Yeah, I couldn't remember their names. That's why I didn't put them in here.
Those will be.
I remember Falco and Slippy, but I couldn't remember the rabbit.
He will. They will. Oh my gosh, the release date's April 2019 for that stuff.
Sorry, that was on me. I cut you off. So, and all those ones they can all play Star Fox's missions as well. So, that's kind of cool. Rune Factory 4 Special Remastered Edition was announced, and that will be coming later this year. And that's pretty much it. It was a remaster of the fourth game.
Wait, what?
Rune Factory 5.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I messed up on these notes.
It's cool.
I feel like I'm on drugs right now. Rune Factory 5. Yeah, that's in development. No news other than that.
No trailer, nothing.
Nothing.
Anyways, Oninaki, this was announced, right? I don't think we'd seen this before.
I'm not sure.
It's a spirit game. involving the spirit world. It's an action kind of RPG, so more like Zelda than Pokemon, and that will be released in summer of this year. That actually looks pretty interesting.
Yoshi's Crafted World. The demo is available now, and it releases March 29th, 2019. If you're super pumped up for a Yoshi game.
I am kind of pumped up for a Yoshi game.
You are always pumped.
I like Yoshi. Anyways, Fire Emblem Three Houses got some more spotlight. We were told that there will be multiple houses to teach. Your role will be as sort of this teacher. You're kind of playing the commander for these students and these houses. I believe this will encourage multiple playthroughs. I don't think you're able to bounce in between the houses. I think once you pick a house, that's pretty much your storyline. That's kind of how Fire Emblem works. There's usually 2 or 3 editions of Fire Emblem. So in this case, they've just packaged it in one game instead of doing multiple editions. And then it's interesting that the characters will have relationships with one another that change, not just whatever. Susie did something, blah blah blah. Whatever.
Susie.
They have dynamic relationships.
Why is Susie always stirring up shit?
So I don't know. Anyways, they finally slapped a release date on it for July 26, 2019. And I see that Nintendo is really, really sorting out that summer window. That's usually where we don't get any games. Nintendo's like, here, have them all. You can have every game. All of them. I'll take it.
Next up, Tetris 99. I believe this is going to be part of the Nintendo Online package, right? Like it's one of the games that you get with it? Or is it just a...
No, it's a free-to-play game.
All right. Tetris 99.
Yeah, it's free-to-play, but you have to have Switch Online, I think. I'm sorry.
Yeah. 99 players, 1 wins. It's like Battle Royale, but not. It is free-to-play. It obviously supports online, and it is available now.
Oh, boy. Dead by Daylight is getting a Switch port. If you're unaware, Dead by Daylight is an online multiplayer game, very similar to Friday the 13th. There is one person who is the killer, and the rest of the players are trying to survive or leave the map. So that will be coming to Switch in fall of this year.
Yay! Deltarune, the reimagining of the Undertale universe. Chapter 1 is coming to the Switch for free. And additional chapters will be coming as well, but they will not be free. I could see how people could get really pumped up about this. Undertale made a huge impact, and when Deltarune came out, it was also leaving footprints behind. I could definitely see people getting pumped up about this.
They seem to be. Sorry, I had to burp. Daemon X Machina finally got its spotlight. It's kind of been absent recently. They have put a demo up on the eShop, which I have not checked out, but will soon. The game is still being under development. However, they do say that the game will be coming out this year in summer of 2019. So we'll just have to look forward to that.
Oh, I am. It is looked forward to, if that makes sense. Grid Autosport. Racing simulator, kind of like Forza, and all DLC included, with motion controls and local online multiplayer that will be released on the Switch in summer of 2019.
Yay, you finally get a racing sim if that's what you like on Switch. This one's, I'm going to be honest with you, probably the most shocking. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
It's making its way.
Coming to Switch, spring 2019. Wow. Microsoft really just cultivating that relationship with Nintendo. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get into more of that later on why PlayStation doesn't like to play nice, but let's keep going on. Mortal Kombat 11 is being released on the Switch on the 23rd of April. Unravel
2 is getting a Switch release, and that will be coming on March 22nd.
Another big WTF, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. All of the DLC and the Vita game Liberation is included, and this all comes out on May 21st.
They finally gave us the release date for Final Fantasy VII on Switch, that'll be coming on March 26th. So if you're looking forward to that.
And even crazier, Final Fantasy IX is available now on Switch.
Yes, indeed. It's also the port for from PS4 and Steam. FYI, it's the same game.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
So it's not a new port. Yeah,
like Final Fantasy 15 World.
Yeah, the weird mobile one.
Yeah, no, this is real deal.
Astral Chain was announced. It will be releasing on August 30th of 2019. It's made by Platinum Games, and it's a brand new IP. It looks very interesting. You are chained to a robot.
What was that one game with the androids? I can't remember. It was also made by Platinum Games. No, Nier Automata. It's like Nier Automata and Bayonetta had a love child, and they accidentally, when they were like being born and created, they accidentally spilled a whole bunch of anime into it. And this is what it happens. And it's not even a criticism. It looks cool. It looks really cool. Bayonetta 3 is still in development. They came forward and just basically said that, don't worry, it's still happening. Just be patient.
Right. They're pretty upfront because people are worried with cancellations, things like that, especially with Metroid Prime, that they did want to have a clear message. And then the last one, probably the second most surprising, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is being remastered. It's very different aesthetically. It's got a sort of claymation look to it. And it'll be coming out this year, 2019.
Mike and I disagreed on how we felt about it. I think it looks very cute, especially because I myself have never played Link's Awakening. So to me, this is just a new game.
That's fair. It also will be a new experience for me. I will probably pick this up. I just think the art style is silly. You were talking crap about it
the other day, and here you are going, yeah, I'm going to get it too.
I was. Well, I'm going to play it. It doesn't mean I don't think the art style is
just
dumb.
like you played Breath of the Wild.
You'll see it when you look at the trailer. I did play Breath of the Wild for a bit
beat it
before I gave up. No, I gave up. I was like, I've had enough. I get it. I get what this game is about, and me and this game are not on the same page.
Because you're wrong. But we are going to leave the direct behind, and we are out of the updates now. We are going to get straight to the news. This is a little bit of a longer episode specifically for the direct. So like I said, just stick around if you want. Please don't go. Give me your money.
It's a meaty episode. You are definitely getting your money's worth this month.
I am in college debt, and Michael is living in a garbage can.
Not yet. But I am also in college debt, and the debtors are coming. The calls have been made.
The debtors will be
amputated.
For some reason that sounds like there's just people like outside your door. The debtors are coming. They're coming for me.
The loan sharks are here.
Yeah, loan shark Top Nook is gonna break your legs if you don't give him his bells. So, okay, enough of my terrible Animal Crossing. Oh, which reminds me, no mention of Animal Crossing at the in the direct. We all know that the Animal Crossing team is at work. Nintendo's already said that, but they did not mention Animal Crossing in the direct at all, if I'm correct.
No, they didn't. No mobile games either.
Yeah, it's either a blessing or I don't know. But going into the news, Microsoft wants Project xCloud to support all digital Xbox One games. A description on GDC's, which is the Game Developers Conference, website describes some of Microsoft's ambitions. Quote, Project xCloud is enabling console-native games to stream through our Azure-hosted game servers and streaming clients. Any console-native game currently shipping in the Microsoft Store on Xbox will be capable of streaming on a mobile device. Project xCloud is an open platform with a customizable client user design experience. This is so much, I'm breaking the quote here, this is so much business jargon. It is crazy.
It's really engineer stuff, yeah. It's very techy.
With a customizable client user design experience where streaming starts with Xbox game developers not having to modify a single line of existing code. This talk will go deeper into how cloud-aware games... Oh my gosh. My console is... I keep saying the name of the Microsoft console and my console is hearing me. This talk will go deeper into how cloud-aware games built on Project xCloud Software development kit will help games adapt for mobile through the same graphics and input. Did you spell that right? And input paradigms as console native development. You will also learn about the new microservices layer that allow customization such as glass and touch input when a game controller is not available, all outside of the game. Project xCloud should work similar to how EA's Origins Premier allow access to streaming to multiple devices, including mobile phones. So we have gone over many times about how we feel about streamed games. You cannot do them just on your own. If you plan on doing them, you need some, like they said, you need some sort of client. You need some sort of system doing it for you and streaming it to you directly. Because if you just rely on your own internet, we've already seen people attempt to do this and it just doesn't work.
Right. PlayStation's client for the computer works fairly well, but it's about as good as it's going to be it.
And even then, there's still input lag, a pretty decent margin.
Right. And even like PlayStation Now has the same problem because it's streaming directly to you instead of streaming. You know what I mean? The streaming method is different. So this is very interesting. I'm excited for GDC actually, because it seems like Microsoft's going to come out this year and be like, GDC, boom, here's a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Coming out at E3, June, boom.
Microsoft's been killing it absolutely killed it last year. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do this year.
It's dangerous for those who are not paying attention to them to realize that they are succeeding just as well as they previously did. It's just that their competitors are doing astronomically well. So that's why they look like they're, quote, failing by comparison. They're doing just fine.
Yeah, but it is important to know that Xbox has been doing very well now that they've got all their rough edges smoothed out from their release. Their consoles are selling, their games are selling. And if I'm being honest, aside from the controller design, just because I have carpal tunnel, I prefer the DualShock 4. But other than that, my preferred console is still the Xbox.
Right. I've kind of switched over to that ever since the whole Fortnite thing happened. I did genuinely switch over to Xbox. Most of the stuff I do play now is ending up being on Xbox, except for Kingdom Hearts. I bought that on PlayStation because I have OCD and I can't have just Kingdom Hearts 3 achievements.
I agree. That's why I bought mine. I have all the Kingdom Hearts games I own are on PlayStation, so I had to get 3 on PlayStation.
Right, that would have drove me nuts. But otherwise, going forward, I don't really see a reason for me to not buy my multiplats on Xbox. Like, they're gonna run better, look better, play better. And the people out there are like, well, their first party games aren't doing well. They're not crazy good. It doesn't matter. They have Game Pass. So more people are trying their games than ever would have before with just buying them at $60. So what they're doing is working. Whether or not the product they're putting out game-wise is huge, like we're seeing that with Crackdown. What I've seen from everybody I know who's played Crackdown so far likes Crackdown. They're like, it's fine. It's a good game. It's good enough. It plays well. It's fun. That's all I need it to be. But the reviews for it are like, it's mediocre. It's crap. It plays like shit. It's a 4. And it's like, well, there's clearly a disconnect between the audience that, are buying it and press. So, what you see isn't always what's happening. That's all I'm really saying when it comes to Xbox. Keep that in mind. So, but I covered everything I want to say. Are you good before I move on?
Oh, I'm just dandy.
Okay, wonderful. This is very exciting news. Ubisoft plans to be releasing 3 AAA games by March of 2020. So during their earnings call on February 14th, Ubisoft talked about how they have multiple AAA games in development that are currently planned to be released by March 2020, the end of the 2019 fiscal year. We already know that there won't be a new Assassin's Creed game this year, so we can eliminate that. We also know that Skull and Bones is set to be released, as is the coveted Beyond Good and Evil 2. However, it is important to note that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was in pretty early stages of development at E3 this year, 2018, and or last year 2018, and the publisher asked for assistance from the community to help build it and its assets. So how do you feel? How you feeling about Ubisoft?
Are we including the Division 2 in this?
No, because the Division will have the Division should technically launch at the end of 2018's fiscal year. So I don't think the Division counts.
All right.
So that leaves you with possibly 2. I don't think there's any way Beyond Good and Evil 2 is ready. Like I just if they just like put it out, I don't think it's it's been long enough for them to be ready to put it out. But Skull and Bones looked like it was almost done when they showed it off last year. So maybe 2 new games this year? That'd be cool. So you're not heavily invested in Ubisoft though, are you? Like you don't really care about their games.
No, we played. No, don't make it sound so black and white. I don't have anything against Ubisoft. I just I played The Division. Wasn't really my thing. I'm Assassin's Creed. I've never been drawn to, so I just don't have a lot of investment in Ubisoft. That's all.
Fair enough. I think actually The Division was the last Ubisoft game I played. No, we played Ghost Recon. That was the last game we played.
We gave Ghost Recon a try, but it was very buggy.
Yeah, we got it at launch. We haven't visited it since. Apparently a lot of that's been cleaned up, but yeah, we're just not heavily invested in Ubisoft. I don't play the new Assassin's Creeds. But I think it could be interesting if they have 2 new games theoretically to talk about that we haven't seen released this year. I think that would be really cool. So that's what excites me, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really have much to comment on Ubisoft. I don't have a dog in this fight. So I'm going to move on to a rumor. Switched VR to potentially be announced this year. We are all aware. We went over this a long time ago. We went over this like a few months after the Switch was released, that the Switch actually does have a VR test mode programmed into its operating system. As in, like, if there was some sort of headset that you could slide the Switch into, it would act as like a VR screen. Nintendo World Report claims to have multiple sources that have said Nintendo will make a VR-related announcement this year. In 2016, Nintendo did file a patent for a VR headset similar to the Gear for the Samsung Galaxy Gear VR, which is exactly the same concept.
Right. The only difference is, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no gyroscopes in the Switch screen, correct?
I don't believe so. I'm not... don't quote me on that. I don't know this. But I do have a very interesting... I have a good opinion on this. And it brings me all the way back to the Wii, the motion controls for the PlayStation, and the Kinect. Both the PlayStation controls and the Kinect controls are better than the Wii U's motion capture. It just is, by definition, by design. But yet the Wii sold stupid amounts of games on their console. And I think it definitely has to do with their titles. It has to do with how their first-party titles really support whatever they design their console to do. And I'm sorry, but both PlayStation and Xbox haven't made that sort of dedication. Name a first-party title with a big first-party title that used the Kinect for something, aside from Halo Wars for voice commands, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't think many of them did. They got a lot of support from like or from developers. Like they got BioWare to do that stuff with Mass Effect 3, and they got support for Skyrim. But for the most part, yeah, I don't think even their first-party games had voice commands on them.
Yeah, well, not even voice commands, just anything motion controls for the Kinect. I just used voice commands as an example. I think that Nintendo getting into VR has some. I'm very confident in it because whether you like it or not, Nintendo takes whatever concept or shtick that their console uses. In the Wii's case, was motion controls, and they put all their eggs into that basket.
Right. And you can even still see that now. They still do that now. They still throw motion controls in. What was the one that everybody got mad about? That they put, Star Fox. They were really mad about Star Fox on the Wii U because you couldn't play it without motion controls. They haven't done that yet on Switch, except for with Pokemon. People were really mad about it in Pokemon.
Yeah, and people were somewhat bothered by Skyward Sword on the Wii too, that all the swinging and sword motion had to be done with the Wiimote. But what I'm trying to say is, like, the big titles, like, I guess my best examples for Microsoft would be Halo, and for PlayStation would be oh my gosh, I can't believe Nathan Drake. What am I thinking? Uncharted. Like, have you seen them? They're huge, big titles. The names that when you hear them, you think PlayStation or Xbox. Have you seen any of those titles support their PlayStation camera or the Kinect?
No, I don't think so. I can't point to any.
Yeah. So if Nintendo gets into VR, I would be super pumped up to see what they have, because they're not just going to hope a game works with it. They're going to make sure that it works with it.
To just slightly counter your point, PlayStation has done a better job with VR than they have with the Move controllers or the camera. And that they do make some dedication there. But yeah, Microsoft really just let the Kinect die. Like, they came out with it, were like, this is our new thing, really stuck with it with the Xbox One launch, and then people were like, we don't want this. And then they were just like, all right, fine, screw it. Now it's dead. So
yeah.
I totally get your point.
We could do a whole video on this if we really wanted to. I just think that Nintendo is going to stick by it, and they're not going to abandon it, like, in hope.
Yeah. They're pretty stubborn about it, and usually their stubbornness pays off because they design the games around that mechanic instead of shoehorning it in.
Exactly.
At least that's my understanding. Is they're like, well, if we're going to do motion controls, how do we make it fun? Instead of just like, well, it's got to have motion controls. But yeah, I think you're right. We could probably sit here and talk all day about it, but I think we hit the major points, so I'm going to move ahead.
Let's move on. I'm eager to talk about this next point.
This one's pretty interesting. So, Fortnite is giving away its Season 8 Battle Pass for free. So, Fortnite recently received an update as it heads towards the end of its 7th season, and it has been updated with overtime challenges. In these overtime challenges, players just need to complete 13 challenges before the end of the 7th season to earn the pass for free. So 13 challenges need to be completed over the next, I believe, 2 weeks. And the challenges are released every couple of days. They update and add more. So there's more than 13 in total. So why would Epic give it away its battle passes? I think there's 3 significant factors here. Players' time. They make a ton of money off of skins, and their competition in Battle Royale. So giving away the Battle Pass allows them to have an in with players and beat out their competition by having players already invested in their ecosystem.
Competition? What competition could we be thinking of that Fortnite possibly has right now?
I don't know, maybe that Apex Legends game that has 25 million players.
Apex is destroying Fortnite's records. They're gaining...
It's ramping up much faster. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gaining traction way quicker. By the way, I'd like to point out that Mike and I and another one of our friends, Justin, got a Apex Legends victory on the first day of release. By the way, just saying.
That is true.
Like a few hours after the game was released, it was awesome.
We did it on our first night. It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah. So this, I could definitely see why Fortnite is definitely feeling threatened now. I was never drawn to Fortnite. The building mechanic, it wasn't my thing. And the cartoony aspect, I also just didn't care for. Not that I'm saying that it's bad. Obviously, people play it. It's a big deal. Same with other games like PUBG. People still play PUBG, die hard, even if it's not as popular as it was. But I definitely think Fortnite definitely has a threat here against Apex Legends, the fact that it's free. I don't think they would have been able to do it if it wasn't free.
I agree. I think that the flip-flop wouldn't be as much. I think that the big thing is also the cross-pollination between players. I think there are probably a ton of people that play both of them. and that's why they're testing out Apex. I'll use a good example. You're aware of my friend. His name is Adam. He never plays first-person shooters, ever. He doesn't like them. He's not good at it. He wouldn't even beat Resident Evil 7. He couldn't play Resident Evil 7 because it was in first person. He just doesn't like first-person games. But he decided to play Apex because it was free, whatever. I didn't recommend it. One of our other friends did. And I was like, well, he doesn't really like it, but if he wants to give it a shot, we'll give it a shot. And so him and I have played it a couple of times, and he's way more into it than I ever thought he would be. And he's like, I just like the way it feels. He's like, you know me, I don't like first-person shooters, but it feels fun to play. The characters are kind of cool. The abilities are kind of cool. He's a little lost on the guns, but he likes certain aspects of it more than Fortnite, and he's in this weird thing where he's like, I wish I could take both of these games and put them together. But that's his feeling. I like them both in their own rights. I like the systems that they have, and they both work, I think, for the games that they're intended to be. So my story was just to say that it's accessible. That's all.
Yes, I agree. There was a rumor going around that Call of Duty was going to make a version of Blackout free, but I'm pretty sure that would make a lot of people unhappy, considering they took out the story mode in Black Ops 4 and dedicated a lot of their time to doing this Battle Royale thing, and I think it'd be a middle finger to the people that bought the game to just make it free.
To bust it out that way, yeah. I saw a similar rumor, but it wasn't free. I had seen a similar rumor that said they were going to bust it out into multiplayer and Blackout, and they would be like 30 apiece.
Like split it up? Yeah. Okay, there's that.
Yeah, just split it directly in half.
Better than what happened with Fallout 76. There are GameStops out there that are literally in Europe, literally giving you a copy of Fallout 76 if you buy a used controller.
Yeah, I've seen that. They also are giving it away for free in some Xbox bundles now.
Yeah.
Like the 76 bundle, they've discounted it to where you basically get the game for free.
Yeah, it's just the price of a console now.
I want to shoehorn this in. I'm sorry, it's not on our script, so I'll try to keep it concise because I want to talk to you about it. We haven't talked about it since it happened. The update with the Activision layoffs. Did you see all that?
Not the update, no.
Okay. I'll go into it quickly, keep it concise here. Activision did indeed lay people off. They had their earnings call. And at the beginning of the earnings call, their CEO, Bobby Kotick, said, we've experienced the most profitable year we've ever had. Right? They have decided, however, to lay off 800 plus people across their entire company. 8% of their workforce. Not just the Destiny team. Not just the esports team at Blizzard, people at High Moon, people across marketing, people across the board. People at Blizzard, they cut tons of people. So it was way worse than we originally thought it was going to be. And it seemed like there was no real rhyme or reason to the people outside of those teams that got cut. And so just kind of wanted to throw it out there and put our condolences out there because it was kind of like, we knew it was going to be bad and kind of crappy that was going to happen, but it was way worse than I thought. I was just curious if you had any feelings about that one way or another.
The good news is that if you're a game developer, you are in high demand. There are many awesome studios and especially up and coming studios that we hear about. What's that one? It's assimilating all of these different studios. We were just talking about it not too long ago. There's like one.
The publisher.
Yeah, it's like assimilating like a bunch of studios and a bunch of talent.
THQ.
Yeah, THQ, thank you.
THQ Nordic. Yeah, THQ's got tons of IP in studios, yeah.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, it's really, I'm really sorry you guys lost your jobs, but at least the good thing is that you guys are in game development and video games are the hottest thing that is going on right now. You will not need to look far to get, at least as far as I know. I could just be talking out my butt, but I feel like if you are a video game developer with all of these games that are being developed, and especially with promising talent saying, yeah, I worked on Overwatch, the most successful first-person shooter of this generation. Like, I feel like that should carry some weight. Do you know what I'm saying?
I definitely agree with you. And you don't have your pulse or your finger on the pulse as much as I do in terms of digitally. And it's funny because you pretty much nailed it. When this started going around, people on Twitter in that sphere were like, hey, we have job openings here. Hey, we have job openings here. And it just spread all over Twitter. So they do, people do help each other out. And it's kind of, it is kind of shit though, because it kind of is an inevitable cycle. Like you'll go, whatever, somebody may go to Ubisoft, but they might get laid off again next year. Ubisoft didn't lay anybody off this year, thankfully. But it's just the point that was made. I understand Activision has to do what Activision does for business sake, but they also didn't give their employees any heads up, and they left them worrying. And I think that's just very irresponsible.
Well, would you rather them just straight up do it like what happened with Telltale?
Telltale, that's true. Telltale just closed its doors, but I think that's a little bit different of a situation. Telltale ran out of funding, and they were just like, we can't afford to pay you anymore. Goodbye. With Activision, at least, some people knew, from what I understand, and they got severance, and they knew it was coming, so they opted to take severance and leave the company. But it wasn't that way for everybody. Everybody, from my understanding, did get severance. But it was a situation where I don't think you've been in this situation, but I talked to a couple of people that have, and I have, of just worrying about your job every day. And it's a very stressful situation, especially when management won't speak to you about what's happening. And it's just not how I guess I would conduct business. I would never do that to you, for example. If I was going to lay you off, I would never be like, okay, well, you've heard the rumors for months now, bye. I would talk to you about it. And even if our little group was bigger, I would talk to you guys about it and be like, hey, like, this is the situation we're in. But that's just me. I think that we should drop this subject. This is going to be a gray area for a lot of people between, if you would, do you want to let the rumors fester because you're scared, or at the same time, do you want to tell people, yeah, the rumors are true, we're thinking about laying people off, deal with it, kind of thing. Unfortunately, there is no right solution here. Every way is bad. There are just worse ways to do it. Agreed. I think you make a valid point. We're going to go ahead and move on to our last piece of news. We were talking about PlayStation, or about Sony being a bucket of poop, and I'm gonna continue on that. So if you haven't heard of my bucket of poop, if you haven't heard about my pendulum of poop analogy, we will get there eventually. We haven't talked about it recently, but if you are new to the show, you need to know about it. If I was going to make a t-shirt design, that's what it would be. It'd be a pendulum with smell coming off of it. That's what it would be. It would just be a bucket. Yeah. Tied to a string. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to see anything with just smell lines coming off of it. Yeah. And say, like, who's going to be next? You would know. Yeah. You would know. It's coming your way. But anyway, so Sony has made even more confusing statements over crossplay. Before I really get into this, if you remember, Sony was really getting hit hard, being under fire from on really all cylinders, because they would not allow crossplay with, of course, the thing that really pushed over the edge was with Fortnite. They were just being stinkers and just would not do it. We've heard quotes from various people that used to work for Sony, saying that it's all about money. We all know that it is. Them saying it's not is. Everyone knows now. It's out of the bag. These have toned down somewhat, though, because Fortnite is such a big deal that it pacified people. Yeah, they put down their pitchforks once. Okay, I was like, I heard something. So yeah, it kind of just sat, but turns out it was just an untreated wound. It was just festering. So Sean Layton, in a recent interview with Game Informer, spoke again about crossplay. This is from Sony, and this is going to be awesome. So from him, all it takes is publishers and developers who wish to permission it. As ever, just work with your PlayStation account manager, and they will walk you through the steps that we've learned through our partnership with Epic on how this works. He went on to further say, I don't believe right now there is any gating factor on that. I think we're open to make proposals because the Fortnite thing worked pretty well. So this statement is poopy.
Just so you know, this statement is absolutely wrong, because
hogwash.
Yeah. So the thing that really sparked this is with Wargroove. Wargroove, a recent game, does not have crossplay. It still doesn't have crossplay, and so then so let me just go ahead and Mike's notes put things very nicely. This did not go well with developers, as Wargroove was launching and has been able to do crossplay with every platform except PlayStation. The publisher for Wargroove, Chucklefish's CEO Finn Bryce, went to Reset Era to say, quote, "We made many requests for crossplay, both through our account manager and directly with higher ups, all the way up until the release month. We were told in no certain terms that it was not going to happen. From our side, we can literally just toggle a switch and have it work. Of course, policy work might be more complicated." And these quotes get really long-winded back and forth, but suffice it to say, he went on to say, "We asked Sony and they just said no." So
that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah. Sony is very clearly trying to make themselves out to seem way more, oh yeah, crossplay, we're all on that boat now, everything's good. Not the case. Not even close.
I saw the article when it happened, when it was like, Wargroove comes out, has crossplay except for PlayStation. I was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Because we've already known the only games that have crossplay, to my understanding, with PlayStation and Xbox and everybody else, is Fortnite and Rocket League. That's it. Nobody else. So I struggle here because, like, Sean Layden is pretty high up at PlayStation, so he, I'm sure, has a pretty good understanding of the policies and procedures and how things work. But he obviously can't know everything. However, he's also the person that goes and talks almost the most for PlayStation, right? He's the guy that does all the publicity. So I feel you should know about it, enough about it to be able to say the correct thing. And this just seems like what he said was not correct. Just period, not correct. Because you're telling us one thing and the people and what we are seeing is a totally different thing.
And the PR for these two things are live in very different universes. You know, they're just developing a game. They have no reason to lie. They're just coming forward and saying, we tried. Like, but PlayStation didn't make it easy for us. Who's going to be more inclined to lie, the single game developer or a huge tech conglomerate?
Right. And here's the thing about crossplay. Crossplay, if you enable crossplay, downplays your sales. Because now you no longer need to buy a copy on PlayStation and a copy on Xbox to play with your friends. You can just buy one copy and play with your friends. The problem, I think, is that Sony's still butthurt about the people that are buying copies on Xbox and then playing with their friends on PlayStation. I think that's the scenario that we're in. And it's like, well...
I love the term butthurt, by the way.
What are you going to do about it, dude? Yeah, like and it's not, I'm not saying Sean Layden personally is butthurt about it. I doubt he is. I doubt to him it's not even a fleck on his radar, really. But I mean, like the shareholders, the CEOs, you know what I mean? They recently promoted a new person to the head of PlayStation, and he's Jim Ryan. He's the same guy that had made some comments about crossplay that was like, well, we're not really seeing people engage with it. We don't really see a lot of people caring about it. But, you know, a lot of people asked for it, so we did it. Or I'm sorry, Sean Layden said that in this interview. However, Jim Ryan made some similar statements, I guess is my point. And now he's the head of PlayStation. And he also ran PSN. So he has a pretty good understanding of how the PSN works and connects online to multiplayer and how it would interact with, say, Xbox Live, you know. So, I don't know. Where do you end up falling on this? Because it's like the same sort of scenario we were in a couple of months ago, except now they're picking and choosing, it seems.
We all know that Sony just gave in. Like, there was no like realizing, okay, they were right. They're just like, things are looking very bad for us right now. We have to do it. We have to do it to pacify them. This is a symptom, in my opinion, of a way bigger problem. Sony is at the top, and they don't want to play nice. They mentioned that they were going to fix with a further update, they were beta testing name changes. Where's that been? That was like 4 or 5 months ago. Where's that been? We haven't heard anything. It's the same thing with this. They're like, yeah, we'll comply. Hey, there's crossplay on Fortnite now. Everyone can be happy. We're good. Still not the case. This is always going to be an issue. This is just the latest example.
I think you're making a valid case there. And that's what a lot of people have been saying, is that it's just that because they're at the top, they don't feel they need to innovate or they need to be customer friendly. And we've seen that from Sony before. And I'm sure the shareholders and the executives there are very similar to the same executives we had during the PS3 era. So, you know...
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I want you to think of this as a shifting scale, okay? So where one thing... Like, if we think of distance from something being as good as another thing, this could either mean that one thing is good and one thing is great, or one thing is awful and the other thing is good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if one of them looks absolutely terrible, of course it's going to make the other one look amazing. But Xbox doesn't look terrible anymore. And now, this is where people are starting to see. People are starting to see, oh, wow, you know, now that you think about it, Sony's kind of being an asshat about a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, because we're in that situation where we were in the PS3 360 era, where it was like, oh, but you can do this. Oh, but you can do that. We have to remember that, yeah, sure, a lot of us grew up, but gaming is still done a lot by kids and teenagers, you know? And those kids, the kids that bought a PS4 or an Xbox One at this generation's cycle launch are either going to be in high school or going to college, which means they'll be, you know, the next generation of people you want to market to. They're going to be the people that buy your console. So do you really want to burn them? You know?
The answer, if you're Sony, is yes.
Apparently so, yes. Give me all your money. I don't understand, because they've done so well. Like, PlayStation in general has done so well this generation until this whole crossplay thing. Then it's just like they've stuck their head in the sand. They were like, nope, not doing it. It's like, why?
Exactly. But we could stay on this argument for a while, and eventually we'll probably do another update video where we did about the things that are going on current with Microsoft and with Sony. But
yeah, the blunders.
Yeah, but for now we are going to we're going to let this matter rest. We've already had this episode be an hour long. If you've stuck with us through the whole thing, hey, thanks a bunch. Try and check us out at least once a week. That's how often we try and do this. I am, have been, and hopefully shall always be Ambassador Chris.
As I hope so as well. And I'm Ambassador Michael. And hopefully I won't have a stroke while talking.
You messed up what you were gonna say. You messed up what you were gonna say. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here now.
All right, goodbye, friends.
We're gone.
Good Lord.